So the second semester is basically over. I've taken all my finals and my students have taken their final. I thought I would make a video discussing how some of those tests went that I took, because I know a lot of people were interested in how I did on the probability test because I took it Friday. So I thought I'd talk about it a little bit here. The first problem was about Brownian motion and showing whether or not a stochastic process is a Brownian motion or not. So I think that problem was pretty easy. I think I got everything on it. Problem 2 was about the walled martingale construction and constructing more Brownian motion or processes from other stochastic processes. I gave him 2 answers for that one because I wasn't sure which one he was looking for. One of them was much easier than the other. It was also result from Stack Exchange. I saw something on Stack Exchange similar to it, so I gave him that version. Then I gave him a version I thought would have been seen in his notes. And then question 3 was about the reflection principle. I know I got most of the point. I think there was a tiny mistake at the end I made, but it was just one tiny mistake, so I don't think he'll ding me on it too much. Maybe half a point. Problem 4 was an old qualifier problem and a homework problem. I looked it up on the internet the night before on Stack Exchange, and I essentially just rewrote everything I saw on Stack Exchange. And then problem 5 was the hardest one. It was there were only 5 problems. It was about, I think it was about quadratic variation. I know he told us that we needed to know it, and I think he was just looking for the proof of a proposition from his notes that he was looking at. And I know I fumbled my way through it. I don't even know if I really fully understood the problem or answered it correctly, but I made some comments and notes about what I think he was looking for, and I just moved on from that because I really didn't know what else to do, and I kind of wanted to get out of there. Although I shouldn't be saying that because I finished 50 minutes early. I probably should have stuck around and reviewed problem 5 a little bit more. It's the only one I wasn't really comfortable with. But I wrote down something for everything. I flipped the paper over, and then I wrote him a note on the back of it letting him know how much I liked his course. And I wanted to study probability theory or something like measure theory with him to get, my PhD. And I kind of twisted his arm a little bit, asking him for, like, can you give me something to read or work on or anything? And then he's like, he said to me he was really trying to retire, and he didn't really think that he had the energy to work with a grad student. But I haven't fully given up on him yet, but I know I probably should move on and look somewhere else. So hopefully I will, maybe he'll give me something to read over the summer, I don't know. But now I'm kind of switching over to qualifier prep mood because I still need to pass my analysis qualifier, which is what you're seeing here. This big stack of printer paper essentially are my notes from complex analysis that I've been working on. Yes, I'm still taking notes. It's how I review for exams and do problems like that, because until you put pencil to paper or if you write down something, I don't think you truly learn it. You can read a book as much as you want, but until you actually do it yourself and write it down and play an active role step by step, I don't think you truly understand what it is you're reading. Or at least that's what, for me. That's my experience. I know that I do a lot better on tests if I do that. So I continue to do it. I've done it for real analysis. I just finished the big stack for real analysis. This is complex. I'm still working on it. You can tell I've been labeling the pages, so I'm 128 pages in. Although for sheets of paper, cut that in half. What else? I did my geometry test and my number theory test, which getting those things submitted was a little bit difficult because my instructors aren't on campus. But we got them turned in. And then there's my students' final exam. So I gave them their test on Monday this week. It was 15 problems. I chose 15 reasonable, not very hard problems, I think. I really don't think that they were that hard. They had 2 hours and 15 minutes to take it, and pretty much everyone finished on time or early. So I know that I went easy on them. But there was one problem in particular, which I'll talk about here very briefly and then call it quits for the video, where I need some scrap paper. I bumped my globe. Look how it spins. You know, I'm surrounded in paper, and yet I cannot find anything I want to write on. I knew there was paper here somewhere. Oh, heck. It's not that big a deal. We'll get one over here. I really do need to clean up this table. It's kind of a mess. In the next video, you're going to see a completely different table, I tell you what. So, what was the problem? So, the problem was basically this. Well, I'll show you something that they've seen in class. I got a lot of students come up and complain to me at this problem. There were multiple students that did not like this problem. That was a very screwed up box, but whatever, you gotta bear with me. So you have a box, it's length times, volume is length times width times height. And I tell them that the volume is fixed. So let's say that the volume is fixed at 16 or something. I don't know, I'm just making up numbers. And I'm telling you that you have a square base. So from a square base, you know you have L squared times H is equal to 16. And then I'm asking them to minimize the surface area. So surface area of a cube is, you know, well, if it's an open top box, so then we have these four sides. Those sides are going to be L times H, so you have 4L times H for each of these four sides, open top box, and then the bottom is L squared. So you have plus L squared. Let me make sure I didn't screw up 5th grade math here. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and that's L by H. So you have 4LH, and then the bottom's a square. So you have L squared. Okay, so the question was they needed to optimize the surface area. So essentially what they need to do is write H in terms of L. So they have H over L squared, or 16 over L squared. And then this thing gets substituted in here. And then they'll have surface area as a function of length. And then all they need to do is take the derivative, set it equal to 0, and find L. That's essentially all I was looking for. And then, you know, obviously they have to tell me what L and H are, what the dimensions of the box are, what is the minimum surface area. That was essentially what the problem was. So this is something that they did in class, and then the problem on the test was exactly the same, except I changed the shape. The shape went from an open top box to an open top cylinder can. And then I gave them the, you know, volume and surface area formulas for a cylinder. And a lot of students really struggled with that cylinder. I don't understand exactly where the miscommunication was, but they do know that if they come up and talk to me a lot, I tend to give them the answer, or give them really good hints that gives them the answer. I was trying to hold back because it is the final exam, but there's a part of me that just hates to watch them flounder, because I do that in my graduate courses all the time, and I know I would appreciate my instructor helping me through it. So I give as many hints as I possibly can without really telling them the answer. But sometimes it feels like I am telling them the answer, but it's hard to, it's an art form, I guess. But I think overall they did fine. I can't imagine too many of them struggled with the other problem. This was just one problem. The other problems were a lot easier, like evaluate a limit, state the product quotient and chain rules, find the fourth derivative of a polynomial that I give them. Stuff like that. So it's not that hard stuff. I gave them a pretty good cheat sheet, or not a cheat sheet, but study guide leading up to the test. So basically that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to turn on some music, get some good food, grade all 25 of their tests or however many students I have, and get their grade submitted and start summer vacation. And by summer vacation, I mean studying for qualifying exams. So, relatively short video. Thank you for watching, and I'll keep you guys updated.